It was the kind of day that seemed to carry its own weight. Gray skies hung low, as if the weather itself understood the heaviness that had settled over everyone's hearts. Inside a quiet chapel, away from cameras and flashing lights, family and friends gathered for a farewell they never wanted to give. Days earlier, most of the world didn't even know what had been going on, but now the story was heartbreakingly clear. On August 11th, the Silver Bow County coroner confirmed what those closest to him already knew. Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, had passed away from melanoma, a form of skin cancer, after a 3-year battle he kept mostly private. He died peacefully at his home in Butte, Montana. The funeral wasn't a public spectacle. No red carpets, no press lines, no performances, just white flowers, soft music, and the murmur of loved ones sharing memories. Kelly arrived holding her children, River and Remington. There was no bitterness in her face, only the quiet dignity of a woman who came to honor the father of her kids, the man she had shared nearly a decade of her life with. For a moment, the service felt frozen in time, and it wasn't just because of grief. It was because, in that room, everyone understood they were saying goodbye to more than a name in the headlines. Before he was Kelly Clarkson's husband, before his name ever trended online, Brandon Blackstock had built a reputation in the music industry as a talented and determined manager. He worked with major artists, guiding careers and navigating the chaos of fame from behind the scenes. But his life was also intertwined with country music royalty. Away from the spotlight, he was known for his quiet humor, love of the outdoors, and fierce loyalty to his friends and family. He was also a father long before meeting Kelly. From his first marriage to Melissa Ashworth, he had daughter Savannah and son Seth. And in 2022, Savannah made him a grandfather for the first time. But for all of Brandon's professional achievements and family ties, the role that mattered most was being a dad. When he and Kelly married in 2013, they welcomed River in 2014 and Remington in 2016. Brandon was the kind of father who showed up, not just in the big moments, but in the small ones that often matter more. When it was her turn to speak, the room went silent. Kelly's voice trembled at first, then grew stronger as she spoke from the heart. "No matter what changes came," she said, "he was and will always be an important part of our story." It was the kind of truth rarely said out loud, that love can evolve, even fade in its romantic form, but still remain when it's rooted in family and shared history. By the time she stepped down, there wasn't a dry eye in the chapel. The outside world began piecing it all together in the days that followed. On August 6th, Kelly announced she was postponing her remaining Las Vegas dates. She hinted at her children's father being ill, but stopped short of revealing what was happening. The next day, Brandon was gone. 4 days later, the coroner confirmed the cause of death. The news spread quickly, and so did the tributes. For many in that room, the service became more than a goodbye. It became a mirror. It reminded people to make the call they'd been putting off, to forgive the person they'd been holding a grudge against, to tell the people they love that they love them. Friends in the industry quietly shared memories that would never appear in interviews. Small acts of kindness, words of encouragement, moments where Brandon went out of his way to help someone without asking for anything in return. And then, as the service ended and the first mourners began stepping outside, the sun broke through the heavy gray clouds. It cast a warm glow on the chapel steps where people hugged, cried, and shared one last story about the man they had just said goodbye to. Kelly walked out with River and Remington, her arms around them, her expression a mix of sorrow and strength. It was a silent reminder that endings often carry traces of beginnings, and that love, in all its forms, is the thread that weaves our stories together. Brandon Blackstock's voice may be silent now, but the echoes of his life, the laughter, the love, the lessons, will never fade. And for those who knew him and those who loved him, that echo will be enough to carry forward. If this story has touched you, let it be more than just a moment you watch and forget. Tell someone you love them today. Forgive someone you've drifted away from. Share a memory with a friend you haven't spoken to in years. And if you believe more people should hear stories like this, stories that remind us how fragile life is and how powerful love can be, tap the like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Because every time we tell a story like this, it's not just about loss, it's about life and how we choose to live it.